Hello, and welcome to our podcast on parenting in the 50s, where we answer your questions on whether or not your child is a delinquent.
Spoiler alert, the answer is definitely yes.
So, our first segment, we will be talking about the dangerous car-related activities which have been recently perpetrated by the popular media, which the children are watching, such as the, quote, chicken game in Rebel Without a Cause, and the dangers of drag racing, which is glorified by the film American Graffiti.
And these have been rising in popularity, especially in Southern California, where there are the Santa Ana drags. Racers are calling themselves the Bean Bandits, and they're reaching speeds of 148 miles per hour.
That is just horrifying to me. I mean, this Bean Bandit man is definitely breaking the speed limit, and parents should intervene to stop their children from glorifying people like the Bean Bandit.
He's like tripling the speed limit.
Yeah, it's like egregious. Also, these children are modifying their vehicles in order to go faster, again, to glorify the Bean Bandit. They want to modify their vehicle, which was perfectly safe before. I don't understand. Buy it from the car factory and drive it how it was intended. But these kids, they want to go so fast, they modify their cars. And let's be honest, the STEM education is not the best. They do not know what they're doing. And so they just can't modify it right. And they make their car unsafe to drive. I mean, I'm not going to teach Johnny how to rewire a car and say he's got to figure it out for himself. Additionally, these games of chicken where two teenagers either drive their cars at each other and then dare each other to pull away and not be chicken, is kind of reflected of today's socio-political situation with the U.S. in their car driving towards nuclear armament and the Soviets in their car driving towards nuclear armament. And let me tell you, the U.S. will not be chicken when it comes to beating those communists.
I mean, seeing how our country is, I definitely see where they're getting it from. So we as parents need to step up and parent them about drag racing.
But of course, we won't be chicken. Of course, with the whole communism thing. We're going to beat those communists.
Of course.
They're the chickens,
yeah, of
not
course.
us. And next up, we'll be talking about the true downfall of American society, and that, parents, is mini skirts.
Girls nowadays are inspired by another country, Britain, and their street fashion. Their girls are now altering their own hemlines to shorten their skirts to more than what was previously sold.
And, it's like those cars. You buy it from the factory, how you get it, and you've got to leave it that way. And once you get your skirt and you start shortening it and you modify it because that's what all the cool kids are doing, that becomes dangerous. And these girls, the skirts are coming up to above their knees. And, back in my day, my skirt was to my calf, maybe even longer. And, I think that it's just so disrespectful to, American professional society that these girls are wearing short skirts out in public. I mean, their knees are showing.
I was yelled at for showing my ankles, and they're just walking around freely, showing their full legs.
It's truly, truly a tragedy, Hannah.
And then now the boys and men aren't even dressing professional anymore. They're moving away from their suits and their collared shirts and their blazers and trousers, and now they're wearing t-shirts, jeans, and most horrific of all, leather jackets.
I mean, imagine that. Imagine not wearing a suit to school. And, back in my day, we were just so much more put together, but these kids now, they're just, they feel more free, I guess, after the war, and now that the economy is really booming and they feel just like they can express themselves and they feel much more lighthearted than we were as children. And, I just think that if we were going to have to struggle like that, then they should also have to struggle. And it really just breaks my heart that, this generation is just so, happy.
They're looking up to what these people say are icons, but they're just rebellious boys. Elvis and James Dean are also wearing these leather jackets, and they're in media, and they're influencing our boys. We need to step up and remind them that the proper way to go out is in suits and trousers.
And the thing is, just because James Dean greases his hair doesn't mean your son needs to too. The thing is, you why would you want grease in your hair? Like, it just looks like you need to wash it. I don't understand what is with these children's fashions these days. And they just think they're rebellious and that they are different from their parents' generation, and they want to listen to their own music and be their own people. But, quite frankly, I don't understand what is so wrong with our music. But, these kids, they just want to be different, and they want to be rebellious and grease their hair. And, really, it's just been tragic to see American popular culture be so influenced by English street fashion and the Beatles in this way. That will be it for this section. And next up, we will be talking about why your precious little Johnny isn't coming home to eat your home-cooked dinner. And let me tell you, it's because he's going to fast food.
I mean, we are seeing people eating out just like every day, and it's such a casual thing. And yes, it is seen as a necessity for working family because it's quick and easy. But come on, what happened to eating at home with your home-cooked meal?
And, back when I was a kid, eating out was a luxury. We probably ate out like once when my father was promoted. And besides that, we always ate our mother's food. And I just think that, things have become so casual that these kids think they can just get up and leave and go eat at a fast food place just because they don't want to eat at home.
I mean, I get it. We're coming from a post-World War II society where consumerism is at an all-time high. But come on, stay at home, eat our own cooking.
And I think a big part of it is the rise of cars and teenagers having access to them. Of course, when I was a kid, cars were a rarity, and this was before the assembly line, so hardly anyone had one, and if they did, they were incredibly expensive. And, there was no way anyone was giving me their car keys. So, if I came home from school and I heard my mom was cooking green beans and the atrocious smell just made me want to close the front door and walk back to school, I had to sit there and I had to eat them. I suffered through it because that's the value of a family dinner. But these kids now, they come home from school and they smell me cooking my family recipe of a green bean casserole, and they just walk out and they get in their car and they go to a drive-in and they meet their friends and they eat the hamburgers and fries at the drive-in in their car instead of respecting my family recipes.
I mean, they're ruining their car with their greasy hands after touching their greasy fries. It's come on, it was brand new. Why are you destroying it?
Yeah, back in my day, we would have treated our cars with much more respect. We would never have eaten in them.
And honestly, I blame the atrocious media like American Graffiti, who just shows these teenagers just casually showing up at drive-ins and hanging out there a majority of the time. What happened to staying at home and doing your homework and eating our food?
I mean, this one kid in American Graffiti literally sat at the drive-in all night waiting for some girl to show up, and that's just disgraceful.
I also blame McDonald's for changing everything by making their food even faster and faster with the assembly line, and it's just they're serving burgers for less than $1. Come on, that can't be real ingredients.
Oh yeah, because they're definitely cooking actual cow meat for less than $1. And, besides that, these fast food places are hiring teenagers and giving them jobs, creating food. And it's come on, we don't think that your 16-year-old son can make a better meal than I can, please. And, back in my day, we worked in the factory. And, I just think these kids should get real jobs.
If your son can't even wash his own hair, are you sure he's going to wash his own hands and serve you?
That is a great point. Thank you for that, Hannah. And really, it just represents the American society moving towards casualness and convenience. Anyways, with that, we will be wrapping up today's episode. And we just want to make sure, before we say goodbye, that you're going to check out our new book, which will be coming out on a shelf near you. It's called Your Child's Teenage Delinquency Incarnate. And, I think we have some really good perspectives to share. For me, I have 5 children, and 2 of them still talk to me.
And maybe, unlike some of your kids, my kids actually eat my dinner.
Yeah, because she takes away their car keys when she makes her Jell-O salad, so they definitely get the experience of eating it. And, I've had it before. It's definitely an experience.
But it's good, right?
So that's going to be it for today's episode. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.